So, Mehdi, one quick thing. I do not think January 6th was an insurrection. I thought that it was all kinds of crimes.
You said it at the time, Chris.
I just don't.
You called it an insurrection at the time. You did.
No,
I checked your Twitter before I came
never
on
thought.
Chris Cuomo tried to lie there, but Mehdi Hasan did in fact check his Twitter before he got up there. And we'll see that in a minute. What's up, y'all? It's your man World here. Mehdi Hasan once again makes a fool out of another show host that's bending over backwards to try to pretend to be on both sides. Sitting on a fence for that long must be very uncomfortable, unless your name is Chris Cuomo. But if you're gonna lie about your own positions that you tweet about, maybe you shouldn't do that with Mehdi Hasan. Let's watch this clip, and we're gonna see the receipts that Mehdi Hasan had after this.
How would you analyze what you're hearing in response to this murder from the left?
From the left? I mean, just listening to the clips you played from the Trump administration, we're in a very dark moment. It's a very McCarthyite moment right now. I've been listening to your show. You made a lot of good points. The biggest point I think you've glossed over is the crackdown on free speech, this targeting of people for their views. I thought Charlie Kirk was supposed to be a free speech martyr. Why are the right using his death to crack down on free speech and American rights and go after this amorphous left? J.D. Vance lied today on the Charlie Kirk show when he said the statistics are clear that this is a left-wing problem. It's the exact reverse. Right, exact reverse. You look at the ADL Center for Extremism, which looked at 444 people killed by extremists between 2013 and 2022, 75% of them by the right. You look at the University of Maryland study that was done for their terrorism center, which found that from 1948 to 2018, right-wing extremists more likely to carry out violence than left-wing extremists. You look at the head of the FBI, who Donald Trump appointed, Chris Wray, who said the number one domestic terror threat in this country comes from religious and racially motivated extremists, specifically white supremacists. You can keep going. The National Institute for Justice found that the majority of incidents since 1990, violent terroristic acts were right-wing extremists. The single biggest day of political violence, Chris, in our lifetimes in this country was January 6th, 2021, when right-wing extremists attacked the Capitol, injured police officers. They were ideologically motivated. You and I agreed it was an insurrection at the time. So it's bizarre for Vance to go on TV or go online and say the exact opposite of what both the official statistics say and the think tanks say. All of our evidence tells us. I mean, there was a Democratic lawmaker, Chris, I don't know how many times we have to say this, who was murdered in her home with her husband in June by a Trump supporter. And Donald Trump today said, who? When he was asked about it, he said, who?
Mm-hmm. So, Mehdi, one quick thing. I do not think January 6th was an insurrection. I thought that it was all kinds of crimes.
You said it at the time, Chris.
I just don't.
You called it an insurrection at the time. You did.
No,
I checked your Twitter before I came on
never
air.
thought.
Okay,
Go ahead, show it to me.
Check it
But
afterwards.
I never thought that they were trying to take over the government. That's what an insurrection is. But it doesn't matter. It was bad. But we're dealing with new bad stuff. But
it was political violence. We can agree, right, Chris? It was political violence.
100%.
Two things Mehdi did that proves that he knows how much of a weasel Chris Cuomo is. First, he actually did go on his Twitter and screenshot a bunch of stuff that Chris Cuomo tweeted to make sure that he had those facts before he even went on the show. And then during the show, he made sure to say, you tweeted it. Come on, I checked it before I got here. But then when Chris Cuomo pushed back, he said, you know what? All right, you got it. Let's move on. Let's move forward because I have the facts, so we're not going to negotiate this right now. It's like trying to negotiate a speeding ticket on the side of the road. If you know you're right, you got a dash cam, and you know for a fact you wasn't speeding, let's take it to court. Sign the ticket, let's go. Don't waste any more of either of our time because cops and people like Cuomo don't actually expect you to call their bluff. When the cops know that they're wrong, they know to not show up to court. Well, Chris Cuomo's Twitter is that court. As Mehdi posts, quote, hi, Chris Cuomo. Thanks for having me on. But just doing a fact check, you told me I was wrong and you had, quote, never called January 6th an insurrection. I count at least 10 times on Twitter back then when you did call it an insurrection and even mocked those who denied it. So not only called it an insurrection, but mocked others who denied it. That's a different level. It'd be one thing if he, by mistake, misspoke on his show one time. Maybe he used the word while giving an example or playing the devil's advocate or whatever. But as we'll see, that wasn't the case. Someone said in September of 2022, plenty of lefty kooks in Congress and out here. Just read the tweets. No side has a monopoly on kooks. And the dignified Chris Cuomo responds, you guys set a high bar swallowing Trump behavior in silence about election fraud BS. Not to mention the insurrection you guys all but ignored. But after you ran for your lives, no more teams. Change the game Think nation, not side. In 2021, someone said, forget righty outlets. What if Kevin put the insurrectionists on the committee? And the Chris Cuomo responds, doubtful, but the facts surrounding the infamy of the January 6th insurrection will overpower any bullshit. 2021, Senator Ron Johnson, quote, the evidence of a potential lab leak theory has been hiding in plain sight for months. Chris Cuomo responds, says the man who denied the existence of a pandemic and of an insurrection? And then finally, Trump wrote, Chris Cuomo, I got you very good ratings. Can I borrow your Twitter account for 2 weeks? Is that really his account? I doubt this was really Trump's account, because that's a hilarious thing to ask. It was probably a parody account. But either way, Chris Cuomo responds, that would make me as complicit as the Trumpicans who helped foment an insurrection, hashtag hard pass, pause. So as you see, Cuomo had no problem calling it an insurrection, but now he feels like he has to completely deny his own reality to not be attacked on Twitter by the Charlie Kirk was a saint mob. It's like every other week Chris Cuomo finds a new way to be pathetic. But let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Do you think Chris Cuomo actually just forgot? That's possible, right? Let me know. Like this video, and if you're still watching, you might as well subscribe to the channel. Peace.